All right, welcome to the Socality Show. Today we have the extraordinary Jasmine Lorimer with us, all the way from Squamish, I believe. Are you in Squamish right now?
I'm in Whistler right now, but close
You're in
enough.
Whistler. At your new, we need to talk about later your new Airbnb, but this is a new venture for you, and it's so cool. And maybe you can
Yeah.
give us a little tour. That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
But it's so exciting to have you. You were the very first Canadian Bachelorette,
And the
and
only
and the only. Let's get the title right. Because didn't they not? They did. I'm not. I watched some of The Bachelor and
you can
Bachelorette.
it's okay. You can tell me you didn't watch it. I'm
I
not gonna
didn't watch
hold it
it because
against
I didn't watch it because
you.
well, one, I was into The Bachelor and Bachelorette in the early days. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Me and my
same.
wife could watch it, and then after 10, 11, it's all
Yeah.
like now it's just they are all coming on. It's like
It's
the
all the
ambulance is
same.
coming down. You know what I mean?
I
And woo, woo, woo. And it was every rose ceremony was the most dramatic ceremony yet. Like,
know. I know.
it's
It's too
like
predictable.
how can they get more dramatic? It was so dramatic last week, and now this one is the most dramatic. Anyway, so I didn't see your season, but now first of all, did they do how many more seasons did they do after?
They did one season of The Bachelor after, but not with
Right,
anyone from my
right.
guys. And
Girls.
there were two, I think there were two Bachelor candidates prior to mine, but they were all like separated by a couple of years. So there was nothing that like consistently rolled into the next.
Right. And they just didn't do it
Yeah.
again. They just figured what we just went through
I
everybody in Canada. Like
I
what's
I
going on
think I
there?
think it's more of like a network thing. Like I feel like in
Mm,
Canada it's so hard to get
it is.
things greenlit. So that was the
Yeah.
thing. Like it was a successful show, but then they switched networks and now it's like I don't know. They're doing Bachelor in Paradise Canada. That's quite fun.
Oh, they're doing Bachelor. So are you going to be on that
Yeah.
one?
No, it's like for single people.
Oh yeah. I guess we should also say that you found somebody, so you are no longer
Yeah. Yeah.
available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not on
But
the
you did.
show, but in
Yeah.
life.
Okay. Because Eric, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you didn't meet him on the show. How did you meet Eric?
No. On Hinge.
Ooh, Hinge. It's one of those apps, right?
It's one of those apps. It's one of those
See,
apps.
I have no clue about these apps
I
because I am
know.
married. I've been married for 21 years, so I don't even know what they look like. Like, but everyone's meeting people. Is
I
there an app?
know.
Is there an app where you could just meet friends?
Yes, there is. There's
What is
Bumble B.
it?
It's Bumble BFF, and I'm not sure anymore. But maybe you can do it on Hinge. But there's Bumble BFF. I did a freaking ad for them once during COVID.
Well, that would be a great time to advertise. You just can't get together, but you can
I
be online
know.
friends.
Yeah.
So Bumble BFF, and then now you can just meet friends. See, because I'm not on. I'm only on like the main like TikTok, Instagram,
Yeah.
these kind of apps. But yeah, every one of my friends that's single is just like constantly swiping. I just assume they're scrolling, but they're obviously doing other things.
Yeah. My favorite thing is to force my friends to get it, so then I can look and I'm like, I'm gonna pick your
Mm,
guys, and they always
mm,
get mad at me because I pick the ones they don't want. But I'm like, have an open
yeah.
mind.
I mean,
Have an
I
open
guess
mind.
I guess that would be fun. I guess I just don't have that season of life. I guess I miss out on this kind of aspect of life.
You didn't miss out
Oh,
on
yeah.
on any. It's
You
another
don't think?
time suck. Well, I mean,
Okay.
I met Eric that way, so I can't say it was the worst experience, but it's like it's not that fun. You just gotta
Right.
borrow your friends and see what it looks like. That's all. That's all
Right.
you need.
Okay. So let's talk about this because we're going to get into a whole bunch of fun stuff. And as you can see, we're going to have a great chat. So are you from Squamish? Is that where you were born and raised or?
No, I'm from a small town in northwestern Ontario named Kenora,
That's right. I
and
just
it
remembered that.
yes, which is like it's like 25-hour drive to Toronto. Like it's
Right.
all the way on the other side of the province and right near Winnipeg. So
I
it's
think I
closer
went
to
there
Manitoba.
once. Yes, I went there one
Did you?
time to a summer
Weird.
camp. Yes.
On Lake of the Woods.
Probably, yeah.
There's summer camps there. It's like
Yeah,
summer.
I must have went there. I must have went there because I went into
Wow.
Winnipeg and then I was driven like an hour or two or something, you know? Does that
Probably
sound right?
then. Yeah, it's like 2 hours. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it could have been summer in Manitoba. They do have lakes closer to Kenora,
Yeah, there
like
was
on the
lakes. There
border,
was
but
lakes and mosquitoes.
it was probably Kenora. It was probably
Mhm.
Kenora. There are
Yeah, I
summer
drove through
camps there.
Kenora. Yes, I remember it.
How fun is that?
So
Yes,
you
that's
grew
where I'm
up
from.
there, and then
Yeah.
what happened?
And then I moved out to Vancouver when I was like, "Oh my god, I can't spend the rest of my life here." And that was in I think 2011, I want to say maybe 2011 or something. I was like seeing my future. I was like,
Right.
it's not that it's a bad thing, but I was
It's
single
not a
and
great thing.
young. I just was like, I can't be have this be my life right now. There's
Right.
more out there that I need to explore. So
Mhm.
that's and then I moved out to Vancouver and I lived downtown and
Mhm.
I was a hairstylist for many years up
You
until
were a
only like
hairstylist. That makes
I was
complete
a hair
sense. Mm.
until only like a few years ago actually.
So could
Like
I
maybe
have
4
asked you to
years ago.
cut my hair last time I saw you?
I hate doing men's hair. I just
Oh,
like
yeah.
coloring and blondes and long hair. I could have colored your hair.
Right.
I
But
would have done that.
you hate cutting. You hate.
I just hate men's hair. It's boring. It's all the
Well,
same.
that's offensive.
Yours, well, sorry. Yours is getting a little more spicy though. I feel like
Yes,
I
I'm
could.
spicing it up. You know
We
what?
could do a shaping.
Oh, so now you think I need shape?
No,
I just got a cut.
I'm just saying that that's what I would accept
Oh,
to
okay,
do
you
for
would
you.
shape.
Not a like a short men's cut. I hate that.
Right, you hate the short men, but you would shape.
Yeah, I would
All
shape.
right.
I would shape a long hair style.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're hairstylist in Vancouver, and then what happens?
And then I was like, oh my God, I had the same revelation that I had when I was in Kenora, where I was like, oh my God, I can't be here anymore. And I impulsively
Mhm.
left and went to Pemberton. It was like the opposite. I was like, I can't be in this small
Where's
town.
Pemberton again?
Pemberton is north of Whistler,
Okay,
little
yeah.
town, like,
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm,
very cute, like mountain town.
right.
And, but I just, yeah, went from can't be in this small town to can't be in this big city to Pemberton. But I was in Vancouver for like 4 years, Pemberton for a couple of years, Whistler for
Yeah.
a couple of years, and now Squamish.
Okay, and so you lived in Whistler. You're there now, but you lived in Whistler for a bit.
Yeah, yeah, a couple of years, yes, yes.
Okay, and then talk to us about how did the Bachelorette happen? Like, what does
Mhm.
one do to get on the Bachelorette?
Well, that happened, like, right after I left Vancouver impulsively and
Mhm,
went to Pemberton. So I was living there, I was doing hair in Whistler, actually,
mhm.
and I was just, like, not sure what the heck I was doing with my life, and then I met some people. I actually worked at a restaurant, I wanted to meet friends, so I worked at
What
a restaurant,
restaurant
like
was it?
I worked at the brew house, just
Oh, cool.
part-time. This was
Shout
in
out Brew
20
House.
yeah, this was in, like, 2015. It was, like, such a Whistler thing. I was walking down the street, and this guy was like, what are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm printing out a resume." He was like, "For what?" I was like, "Well, I'm a hairstylist. I'm gonna go and apply to some salons." And he was like, "Well, do you want a job at a restaurant?" And I was like, "Sure." And he was like, "All right, come on in." So that's how I got the job there. And
Nice.
anyway, I met this girl named Andrea. She was my
Mhm,
manager, and
mhm.
she just happened to have a cousin who was working on the show in casting. And I don't know if
Neat.
he saw, they were creeping my Instagram. Maybe they saw that we were mutual friends or something, but she reached out to me and asked if I was single and if I
Cool.
was interested in doing the show. And then
Mhm.
they connected me with the casting people. And then, so it's all so weird, like me
And did you have
moving
to
to
go through, like, a
Whistler.
round of interviews, or were you, like,
Y-
chosen on the
y-
spot? Was it kinda
I
like the
mean,
brew house? They just took you in
yeah,
and said, "Let's get on the show"?
honestly, pretty much, but it was weird how it all lined up. But no, I had a Zoom call with the casting director,
Right,
and then I met the producers in person and the director in person,
right.
and we filmed some stuff. And I remember thinking that I was filming the show because they were like filming me. I guess they were going to send it to the network to be like, "This is the girl we want.
Right,
Here's an example of kind of how she talks, or here's her answering some questions about her
right,
life." The backdrop is like this shitty, like blue with like clothespins on it, and it
right,
just looked like it was like a sheet. And I was thinking to
right,
myself, wow, this is pretty low budget. And but no one explained to me that it wasn't the actual, like,
right.
wasn't going to be included in the show. Anyway, so then they later told me, no, that's not included. That was just to show the network. So anyway, they selected me, and like from start to finish, it was like 6 weeks, and I was in
Right.
Jamaica.
Wow, so is that where the whole show was filmed, was Jamaica?
No, it started the first night in Vancouver at some like mansion on South Gravelers. I don't even know. It's
Right.
like all I've kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
blacked out this whole experience. But
Yeah, yeah.
and then we went to Jamaica 2 weeks, Morocco, Quebec,
Wow.
went to Montreal and Quebec City, and hometown dates. I'm pretty sure that's it. Oh,
Now
Cuba.
did you actually get to enjoy these places, like, or were you just, like, in a whirlwind?
No, I wasn't even allowed to like leave my hotel ever.
Yeah, so talk
Wasn't
to us a bit about that. I remember you saying, like, okay, they took your phone, all this stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like you're very isolated, which is intentional, obviously, because it
Right,
helps to create a dynamic where like you're only focused on this one thing. You're kind of
right.
obsessed with it because it's all that's going on in your life. You're closed off to the outside world. No news, no music, no like books, no
Did you have a
TV.
TV in your room?
No,
No,
no, no,
nothing?
no. They would disconnect it. And if we ever went into a hotel where there was a TV, I'd always try and turn it on. It would be fuzz. They would disconnect it in advance, take out the phones,
So
like
what are you
whatever.
doing in this room?
Well, I was always busy though. Like for
Oh,
the
okay. You
guys,
weren't
it was
sitting around
probably
doing nothing. They
yeah.
were filming
Yeah,
and
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
Like
okay.
I was hours and hours and hours and hours every day. The guys
Right.
would often have time to sit around and like ruminate, which was probably awful. But I was always busy, filming like interview stuff, going on the dates, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was a
So these places that you
pretty
go,
trip.
you don't go, okay, now everyone's got a day off in Cuba, you can sit by the pool. Like that's not happening. They're like,
There
we're
were
out of here.
sometimes dark days that the crew needed, just like from a legal standpoint,
Right.
they could only
Okay.
work a certain amount of days, or after travel they'd have a dark day. But
Okay.
I was usually still with the producers and the
So you
director
didn't
who
get a dark
didn't.
day? No dark
I
day for
think
you?
I did twice maybe in the whole like 2 months.
Right.
Um, I would always be like forced into interviews when we
Right.
had the spare
It
time.
sounds exhausting.
It was exhausting. Oh my God, yes, it was exhausting.
So now for the people that are watching that are totally bachelorette obsessed, we need some inside scoops about the Bachelor. So talk to us about the dream dates when they come in with that note and Jasmine's planned this amazing.
Dream dates? Is that
Yeah,
what you think they're called?
is that what they're called?
What is that?
What is a
No.
dream date? Is it not called the
I don't.
dream date?
Are you thinking of fantasy suite
No,
or
what are the date when they say they've got a dream date for you? What are those things called?
I have
You know when they come
absolutely
in
no
with the
idea what you
note? When they come in with
this
the
is
note.
it's just a date. It's just called a
Oh, it's not a
dream
dream
date.
date?
Well, it could be, but no, that's not
Oh,
what
they're
they call it
flying you on
officially.
helicopters to buildings and everything. This is not dreams. It's not like they're taking you to like, Earl's. Like
Down for
okay, so
full
okay, it's not called the
sanitation
dream date.
salad.
So okay,
No.
hometown is that what no. Okay, when they
Okay.
come in with the card and say
Yeah,
Jasmine's
it's
class
just
planned the most amazing date for you. Did you actually plan that?
um no, I did
Okay.
not. I really had like very little hand in any of it, but I have to be honest that oh cool mug. I
Oh,
have
you
to be
like this
honest.
mug?
Yes,
Zazzle.
it's very talk showy of you. Um,
Product
so
placement.
I
So discreet.
yeah. No, I didn't. I maybe I could have had more say. Maybe I
Mhm.
could have,
Mhm.
but I really did leave it in the producers' hands because I knew that they knew better than me. Like I
Right.
trusted their
Right.
they knew the guys better than me. They knew what we were doing. And
Yeah.
even when I didn't even know where we were going on this. I didn't know what activities we were doing, where we were traveling to at all until the day before we left.
Right.
They
You're
wouldn't
just
tell
showing
me.
up. You're just showing
I was
up.
just showing up. And when
Right?
I had to get wardrobe fitted for every single date.
Wow.
Every single scene was planned in advance. And
Right.
I had to spend like 2 8-hour days trying on clothes
Whoa.
to
And they
get
just
fitted
bring
because
you clothes. They're just bringing you
they
clothes. It's just
they
say
had
try.
everything labeled for each thing that I was
What if
doing
you
the
hated
whole time.
something? What if you said I don't like this?
Well, I tried everything on so we could determine what looked good and what didn't, what needed to be
Okay.
tailored. So it was a
Right.
whole 2 months of outfits planned in advance. And I was
Wow.
trying on these outfits being like, "Oh, I must be going somewhere tropical with all these bathing suits," or like, "Ooh, I must be going on some sort of safari." Like I had no
Right.
clue.
Right. You
Yeah.
wouldn't even know where you're going. You're
No.
just judging by
No.
the clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Which was kind of weird.
And so you're doing these dates. Now, I remember you telling me that you couldn't eat the food.
Oh yeah, that's like a I feel like that's a fairly known fact that
It's
you
not
don't eat
known.
the you don't eat the food because they can't be filming you and have you all of a sudden have food in your mouth.
Right.
Continuity and also just like
You
gross,
can't be
you
like
know?
downing the lasagna like while you're talking. Like, I
Yeah.
really
And
like you, but
yeah. And it also could have to do with the fact that when the food like let's say you have a bowl of pasta
Yeah.
and it's full when you're talking about one thing and
Yeah.
then something happens later in the night when you've eaten half of it and they want to put that in the front part of the conversation because they
Right.
edit everything together, right?
Right.
Then probably that would give away their secret.
So
That's
after they're
probably a
done
big part of it.
shooting, do they bring you any food and they'll be like, you can eat
I
this?
ate I ate sometime I feel like I ate a lot of granola bars on the way to different locations. And there was like, like what's it called? Like craft services, like what the
Yeah, yeah,
crew
yeah.
eats. It was like
Right.
junk. I don't even know. I don't remember
Wow.
eating like I remember getting poutine in Quebec
Mhm.
at a restaurant. Like we actually went in a
Right.
restaurant, ate.
And
That
you
was
got to eat it.
like yes.
That was
That
kind
was
of
like
cool.
not that was like off camera. That was when we were
Mm,
just traveling to like Quebec
right.
City or something.
So
Yeah.
now you've done this crazy experience, and now because I didn't
Yeah.
watch, but I've
Yeah.
followed you. We're social media friends. I know you
And we're
post.
real friends.
What do you mean we're really friends?
I said it we're real friends too.
We're real friends in real life. Like we text. Actually, one thing we do is we send voice notes to each other, and they're very long. So like,
Very. Yeah.
and so I like literally. I don't know how you listen to my voice notes, but I listen to yours while I'm like like shaving and cooking my breakfast because they're very long. They're like 5 minutes long. And then
Like
it's like you're not a texter. You're a voice note person.
sometimes I text, but sometimes it's just like, it's just easier to just send this in a voice note. But
It
I know
is.
we get a little long-winded, especially me. And you can't exit the conversation, otherwise it goes away and you have to start all over again.
Well, that's the thing. And sometimes, like for you, you say like, there's like 4 or 5 points within your 5 minute thing. So when I'm responding, I'm trying to go, and to this point, yes. And I'm like, but it's kind of great, great way to chat because your thumbs do
I
get
think so
sore with
too.
texting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Why are we talking about this?
Oh,
Oh,
because
because
we're
we're
talking,
real friends in
yeah.
real life.
Because you were gonna ask me something and then you said we were social media friends. And I was like,
Right.
to
So I don't know. Okay.
clarify.
Yeah. This is the thing I was going to ask you. So who did you choose at the end of The Bachelor? What was his name?
I chose a fella named Kevin. We were
Okay.
together for like, I don't know, 10, 11 months, like almost a year. But
Okay. So that's long.
yeah, we were together for a long time. Like it was like a
Wow.
crazy experience. So we were like heavily bonded,
Mm,
not only because we were in a relationship, because we went and had this like intense experience. I
mhm.
think a lot of people like minimize the relationships that come out of those shows, which is like fair
Right.
maybe in some respects, but not really, because it's like it's not only that you're like entered into this relationship, but you have like gotten so deep into so many things with that person in
Mhm.
such a short time, so they know you in this different way, and then also you're like experiencing this crazy whirlwind of like you've just like
Mm,
shared this experience that like no one else can relate to.
right.
So there's definitely like this deep bond there. But the weird thing, and I don't, I'm sure he would agree with this, but like outside of it all, when you like strip it all down, what do you have
Right.
really in common? Like that was a struggle for us. We had a lot in common from the experience and like some things in common outside of that, but ultimately it just like I feel like it was a weird experience for me too. I was in a weird place.
Yeah.
It was like we couldn't get on the same level in the
Right.
end. But
It is interesting because you're in this, very fantasy world that's not real. Cameras in your
yeah,
face, 25 people. Do you feel like you actually got to know like these people or
you do.
you
You
do?
definitely, yeah, you definitely do, because you have conversations like really early on that you
Right.
maybe wouldn't have, maybe ever.
Right.
Um, and but then also the only thing you don't know is what like their day-to-day life. Like I had no idea what his day-to-day life was. I'd never looked at
Mhm.
his social media. I didn't know what
Yeah,
he
because you
liked to
can't see
do.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't know what he liked to do on his time off, except for like what he told me. It was just
So
like
you're really
meshing
taking
your,
people at face value.
yeah, like you're really
Yeah.
getting to know them, but then there's so much more to learn later, and how you are in the real world and
Right.
handle like any relationship.
And so you came out of this relationship with Kevin. You got Kevin.
Hmm.
So are you still friends with the other 24?
I am friends with a couple of them actually,
In
and
like a
there's
group chat or anything? Is there a group chat? Is there a WhatsApp
no,
group?
no. But last year I met up with a different Kevin who was on the show,
Right.
and Benoit, who is from Montreal, and they were in
Benoit.
Squamish, and they were in Whistler, and then they were in Squamish, and we had coffee and
Mhm.
donuts, and it was really nice. Like,
Wow.
yeah, there's a couple that I'm friends with still.
Right. And have you gone to anybody's wedding or anything like just remain friends or?
I think that would be a bit inappropriate, maybe, but no,
I'm not talking about with the
no,
bride, being the bride, but
no.
so
I know. I mean, like, I don't know if they would want me at their
they wouldn't
wedding.
want you there. Well, that's what I'm saying. Did you become
No,
friends where it's all like, oh, there's no bitterness there that you didn't choose them.
no,
Everyone's
definitely
moved
no.
on.
Yeah. There would
Yeah.
definitely be no bitterness
There's definitely
between
somebody that's hurt though, right? There's got to be one hurt guy. The one that's blocked
us.
you, he's hurt. Still a great experience for you. For you
Yeah,
in general. In general,
I
you
think
do it
for
all
all of
again.
us,
You do it again,
I would not erase it from my past, but I wouldn't do it another time.
right?
It was a lot. It was a really difficult emotional time. Like as great of a learning experience as it was, as
Right.
fun as it was at times, it was also
Right.
like so hard.
So, question here. So, you go into this. Do you know how many followers you had in social before you did the program?
I think I had like, I don't know, I think I had like 7,000 or something, or maybe more.
So, they take away your phone.
Yeah.
They obviously they give your phone back because
Yeah.
after the show and it hasn't aired yet. When did you
Hmm.
start to see the growth? When did you see like as soon as the show started, were you just like, that was it?
Mm, I think when I got announced as a Bachelorette, we did like a whole commercial shoot with this like really awesome director named
Mhm.
Cameron Duddy. He's like produced like Bruno Mars music
No
videos and shit like
way.
that. Yeah, he's really this like cool like LA dude. And he came up and we shot a commercial in Toronto. And
Yeah.
after that aired, because they were pumping this
Right.
out. Like I was on the sides
Of
of
course.
buses. I was like
Wow.
lining the walls of the freaking like
Wait,
what's
could you
that?
see? Because were you living in Squamish at the time when it was airing?
Yeah, I was living in Pemberton. So I was like not
Wow.
I was just having people send me like it was in Vancouver, Montreal,
Oh,
Toronto,
great.
I think is where but Toronto had most of it. So it was like
Right.
everywhere. Like literally like my whole I don't what's that like subway station in Toronto? There's like a main subway station, but it was like the whole floor, the walls,
Right.
it was like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my face just being like so they did
Wow.
a crazy promotional like
Mhm.
they put a ton of money behind the marketing because it was the first season on
Of
this network.
course.
And then so after that I started to get a bit of growth and then after the show I think I maybe had like I didn't have a ton. I mean it's Canada by the way. So
Yeah.
it was like maybe 60,000 or something. Like I feel like it
That's
was
still
like
good.
something like
That's a
that, yeah.
career. That's a
I
career in
mean,
social.
totally. I didn't think anyone was gonna watch anyway, so I was stuck around.
So, okay, so you're when did you because you got on you come back, you're doing social. Now obviously the style of content you're creating now, you're doing, obviously reels, TikToks and
Yeah.
obviously amazing photos. Were you creating that kind of content at that time or
I was posting a lot of like it was mostly iPhone stuff, but like I did a lot of exploring in Pemberton and Whistler area and going to
right?
hot springs and like really I was really obsessed with like exploring the outdoors at
Mm,
the time. So I was posting a lot of my own stuff and like travel stuff, but
right.
just very like what I thought was pretty. A lot of like pictures of just scenery and stuff like that.
Were
I don't
you
know. It
because
was kind of
obviously from a content creation point of view, like sunrise, sunset, were you doing like those kind of shoots, or were you just doing midday? Were you just like
no,
whatever?
I was just posting things that I thought were amazing looking and
Right,
like scenic and pretty and then travel like
right.
experiences. But I would also post like pictures of my friends. It was certainly not intended to be uh
Right,
in any way a job. And also it was at the very beginning of when all this sort of began. It was like
right,
2016, 2017.
right.
So
Wait,
that's
that's
a
when
little
is that when it was on Bachelorette?
yeah, yeah, it aired in
Okay,
2017, I
right,
think.
nice.
Yeah.
Because one of the very first photos I saw of you was you in the canoe with the little lights that Braden took.
Oh yeah, that was in I think 2018. So that was like shortly after, and that's when I started like actually taking it seriously. But Scott, I need to tell you
Right.
a story about my first, not my, okay, I think it was my second ever paid job.
Yeah.
So you're asking about like how I even began doing this as a job. So yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
I took photos that I thought looked really nice, and I think that my feed was like full of like really scenic, beautiful spots in
Hmm.
Canada and whatever.
Hmm.
But it wasn't something I was doing it for myself,
Hmm.
right? But then when I did the show, there was all this like all it Canada was just sort of starting to do paid ads and stuff.
Right.
And I knew that in the American show they would do like ads and stuff like that,
Hmm.
but I didn't know anything about it, didn't know how much to charge, had absolutely
Yeah.
no clue. So I had a manager at the time to help me out, and he got me this job with FabFitFun. Do you remember this? Do you remember those subscription boxes?
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
Oh, you might not even. They were like aimed towards women, but they were just like
Fab Fit
boxes.
Fun.
Oh
Right.
my god, it's so, they were
It
everywhere. I
sounds
don't know
kind of
what happened to
devastating
that.
to be honest.
It was. So listen to what I did. I remember Dave, my manager, being like, okay, like here's the thing, and these are the requirements. You have to have the box like open and
Yeah.
you have to be able to see all the products in it. I literally like I cared so little, but still was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this. I was still a hairstylist, so this was just like a thing that I was doing on the side. I
Right.
literally took this friggin' box. I did have a better camera at this time. Put it on my car so that the scenery was like a snowy
Yeah.
kind of background. So it was like
Yeah. Yeah.
sitting on the hood of my car.
Right.
Okay. And I
Hmm.
just took
Hmm.
a picture of the box. Like I
Right.
just took a picture of the box with the stuff in it, and that was my ad. And he was like, I think they want you to be in it next time. And I was like, okay.
So you weren't
Like
in
what?
it. You were just a
I
picture
wasn't
of a
in it. I
box
just
on it.
literally took a picture of a box sitting on my car full of products. Like so stupid. Yeah, I'm gonna send it to
And
you. I bet you.
FabFitFun disappeared after that. That was the end of FabFitFun.
I did. I had like a 3 post campaign with them or something,
Isn't
and
it
that
funny
was.
because when we do these jobs, we're like, it's just so unnatural for a box to be in the woods on a car. Like, that's so not what it. But
It
everyone's like, oh,
totally was.
amazing, because we feel this pressure to advertise a certain way. It's like, no, we open up boxes in our house. You know what I
I
mean? We don't
know.
we don't drive out to the mountains and stick it on our hood and be like, let's see
I,
what's in this box. It's
and it was in
FabFitFun.
the driveway, Scott. It wasn't even in a cool location. Like I need to find the picture to send you because I can't even
We're
like
gonna
put myself in that headspace.
Is it still on your feed?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh,
It
we need to
definitely
see
is.
it. We
I'm gonna
need
find
to
it.
see it. So it's so
Uh,
funny to see those early days though. So now
oh my god.
FabFitFun. And so you're
Yeah.
doing FabFitFun, you're doing social media ads because, like I said,
Yep.
I think the first time I saw you was on Braden's thing. Did things change for you significantly when you started connecting with other creators, essentially?
I think so. Like I I would I think so because my plan at the time, I didn't care. My
Mm,
manager was like, "Stop putting your friends on your feed. Like no one cares about seeing your friends that they don't know."
right.
And I was like, "Well, I don't care. I'm gonna do what I want." So I would just do that anyway. And then at a certain point, Dave was like, and at the time, again, this was new in Canada.
Right.
I didn't know that you could actually make a career out of it. But Dave was like, "I really believe that if you wanted to do this full time, you could. You would
Right.
just have to put effort into making like higher quality content
Mhm, mhm,
and you could do it." And I was like, "Really?" And
mhm.
so I started thinking
Yeah.
about it and I was like, maybe I should just try doing that. Like,
Mhm.
why not? I have this opportunity. So then I started trying to be like a little more mindful of posting like better stuff and like not
Right.
posting my friends as much and stuff like that. So
But
that's kind of yeah.
it's nice to show your friends.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I don't know. He just was like no one like I would just post a picture of a friend, not like
Right. Oh,
me and friends. Do you know what I mean? Like how you used to use Facebook back in the day.
right.
Is that
Oh,
what I would
I see. I see. Do you know
yeah.
Facebook is really back? Like they're pumping the reels now. Do you know that?
Oh, on Facebook.
Yes, Facebook is
Wow,
back. I
Facebook
turned
is
I turned my Facebook into like a personal page, a professional page. I didn't even know what I did. It just said, "Turn your Facebook into a professional page." So I clicked yes.
oh.
I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure, why not?" And all of a sudden, I started gaining followers on Facebook. Now I Yeah, now I've
Oh,
got 17K followers on Facebook, and I didn't know where they came from.
wow.
Yet my reels do good on there. I don't even know what's happening. I'm becoming a
Oh,
Facebook
interesting.
influencer by
I
accident.
like that. You're
Yes.
targeting a new demographic of old folks.
The moms,
Yeah.
our people, my
Yeah.
age demo basically, because we started it. We started on Facebook,
So
you
did
know?
I.
You did too, because everyone's like, "Oh,
Hello?
who uses Facebook?" We're still active on there. There's a
Oh,
whole
I'm not
underground
yeah.
world. It's a whole
Yeah.
underground world, people of going
It's
through midlife crises. We're all there. That's where we
it
live.
is yeah, that is where I get updated on my town.
Yeah. On the I Heart Squamish Facebook page.
The Kenora,
Oh, yeah.
the Kenora town event.
They have a
Lots of
Facebook page.
drama, lots of drama
I know. You know
in
what's so sad?
oh,
Because I always get the people, because I grew up in Saskatchewan, I always get the people who died on
right.
my Estevan page.
Oh,
I'm like, "Oh, did I go
shoot.
to school with them?" You know what I mean? I like, you
You're
know?
at that age, Scott.
Well, thank you. It can happen at any time to anybody, I just wanna say. But I do see some people that I went to high school with come up on the dead page on my,
Oh,
on
there's
the
a
death
wait,
announcements.
is that a real thing? You have an obituary page?
I don't ever think I liked it. I just think it feeds it to me because 'cause I'm from there. And
Oh, I
it's
thought
oh,
you meant
you
it
know
was
what it
like a
is? When a friend that I'm connected to likes something, then I get that
okay.
notification.
Okay,
I
Scott, I
definitely don't
thought you were
follow it.
I thought it's okay if you do. I thought you were saying that on your Facebook, there's like a separate section that is just like
Or I just announce
listing
people that died.
you do that it does. Like
Oh.
Facebook has like a separate section
Although
that just
I did
announces
get
the thing.
a Facebook notification the other day that was highly concerning that
Oh,
said, choose someone that can choose if you die, who can take over your Facebook page. Did you get
yes,
that?
I did and I did it. I put my sister as the
Did
person.
you? I'm like, this
I
is so
did.
sad. I
I
didn't do it
know.
yet because I couldn't bring myself to do it, but it's like it's starting to warn us. Like it can
I
tell our
know.
birthdays. It's like, oh, better send that notification. You know?
Like this is like the life insurance. Like that makes me
It's so
sad.
depressing, but we gotta because people might get spammed from my Facebook account if I don't do it.
That's true. And then they have access to all your photos and everything and
I know
like
in the
memories.
DMs, the
And
DMs.
oh yeah, yeah. Do you even wanna like do you wanna hand
My
that
DMs are
over?
so not bad. Like literally, they're not bad. Like nothing ever happened. Everyone's like, "You must get so many DMs." I actually don't. Like no one ever DMs me. You know?
On Facebook you mean?
I don't know where they come from
Or in
anymore. I'm so
general?
confused because you know how Facebook will be like
Oh,
connected to
yeah.
your like
Yeah.
everything's connected, but I don't know how it's
I
connected. I
know. I
kind
don't
of
like
find that
that.
whole back end thing confusing. Anyway,
I do
Facebook.
too.
So okay, so anyway, that's just my little side thing. So let's talk about TikTok. So you're
Oh
active
yeah.
on TikTok as well. Remember when we first started doing
Mhm.
TikTok,
Mhm.
we were messaging each
Oh
other the
yeah.
voice notes, giving each other the
Yeah.
secrets.
I've been
Um,
on TikTok since 2019, I just want to say.
Right. I think I started then as well. Didn't we start at the same time?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I started, you know what? Yes, it was around the same time. I
Hmm.
was on there a little bit like um before I started actually caring about it,
Right.
just like posting stupid stuff and what like once in a while. And then I kind of forgot about it and then it started becoming more of a thing and then we chatted about it.
How did
We're like, shouldn't we
TikTok
try?
how did TikTok change the way you approach your content just in general?
Um, well, it hasn't really changed how I approach my Instagram stuff, but I enjoy that I don't feel obligated to one specific audience, I guess. Like
Mm.
I feel like on Instagram I have this like relationship with these people
Hmm.
and so I don't want to be giving them just like random stuff. I don't know, maybe this is like the wrong way to think about it, but on TikTok I care less.
Hmm.
I also don't know who's gonna see it or how many people, and it's
Yeah.
usually not my followers who see my stuff anyway, because it always goes to the For You page if it gets any views at all. So
Right.
it's just like random people seeing your stuff. So I just care less about the quality. I care less about the information. I care less in general, which is freeing, but also maybe I should care less. I don't know.
No, it is true because when I post on Instagram, I feel like it's going to people that I feel a deeper connection with me. But on
Yeah,
TikTok, I still feel like I'm sending it, even though I've been on it for years, into the stratosphere. Like, I don't know where this is
totally.
actually going. Like, do these people even know who I am? Like, are they just liking this man walking through the woods slowly to a
Yeah.
mode of music? You know,
Yeah. Yeah. That's how
Where's
I
Scott
feel
going this
too. So
time?
yeah. Yeah. Like there's less of a connection to
Right.
your audience there for sure. Like I mean that's how I feel anyway.
I feel like it helped for me, it helped take away some stresses because it helped maybe people get used to imperfect content on that
Yeah.
platform. And so maybe I could translate a little bit of that over to Instagram because they maybe got used to seeing a little bit more imperfect. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that's maybe something that's been a benefit.
I think so. And that's true. Like it does take away the pressure. It makes it like kind of
Mhm.
fun sometimes to
Yeah.
create content that is like different than you would on Instagram. And I find that like the almost the opposite things perform on either platform. Like stuff that I
Yeah.
would share that's more personal
Right.
performs better on Instagram because my audience knows me there.
Right.
Whereas over there it's like who the heck is this? We don't care,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, it is because we get caught in the scroll. So, um,
Yeah.
what do you think the future of TikTok is? Like, are you still going hard on it? Like, how are you approaching it now versus when you started?
When I started I've gone through like ebbs and flows with it, but
Hmm.
I feel like it's kind of slowing down. I do see it
Hmm.
as an asset for creators for sure because so many of my campaigns now, Scott, involve cross promoting to TikTok.
Really? Yeah.
And yeah, and what I do is I offer like a discounted rate if the video, and I don't know if I'm supposed to do this, but this is what I do. I offer a discounted rate on like instead of charging per asset, it is just one video usually like if
Right.
it's just one
I
video and
see.
they don't need me to make another one and I'm just reposting it, that's like less work for me, but then I get more money, but I don't care as much
So
about
it's
TikTok, so it's like
added value.
it's added val well, yeah, and I mean, well, they pay me extra as well.
Okay.
Like they I just I just
Yeah, you
discount.
still make money. You're not doing it for free, buy one, get one. It's more like, but I
Yeah,
can also do this and
it's
it
like
just increases your rate.
25%. Yes, exactly. And
I
but
see.
usually they're asking for it. Like I've
They are.
never actually pitched it. It's just it comes along with
Right.
it, or I'll
But it's
send
so
my
funny.
rates that include that.
It's so funny because it's like with TikTok, I can't guarantee how it's gonna do. It's like,
Oh, that's I actually charge less for TikToks even though I have more followers because I'm like, who the heck knows?
who the heck
Who the heck
knows?
knows?
Yeah, sometimes it's
Yeah.
like, hello, it's like the end of Titanic. Is anybody alive out there?
I know. I know. And most like commonly it's gonna honestly perform like shit because unless it's a shareable,
Right.
informative, savable piece of
Mm-hmm.
content like that people are gonna send to their friends because they think it's amazing or interesting or whatever or
Mm-hmm.
hilarious, then it's literally gonna bomb because that is how TikTok works. Like it
Yeah.
either bombs or it blows up, but it only blows up based on shares and saves.
So
So if
super
you can't
relatable. It's got to be super
it
relatable.
it has to be interesting, funny,
Mhm.
like your videos that are inspiring and people save them because they want to go or they want to like show people
Right.
how cool it is or share it. Like
Right.
that is the only friggin' way. And I try to explain that sometimes, but I feel like sometimes they don't get it.
Right.
Because if you're posting an ad, no one's gonna be like, "Oh, gotta send this to my friend," unless it's like
Right.
some like revolutionary product. So
I'm gonna
it's
send this
bound
fib
to
that what is it? Fib Fab Fun? What was it called?
fun.
I'm gonna send this
People out there will
FabFitFun
know.
box to my friends. Like I'm gonna save that. It's true. If it's not savable or shareable, then it's gonna bomb
It
because people are like, what
it's
the
gonna
heck?
bomb.
Like, it's gonna
Totally.
bomb.
But here are my thoughts on it, and this is where I feel okay about it, is that I will a lot of times, so this is what's been happening in my like larger campaigns that like
Yeah.
have been including TikTok. They promote it on TikTok, so then it
Right.
gets freaking millions of views.
Hmm.
And so you're like, cool, well, I just gave you a deal. But
Yeah,
obviously
that's right.
they pay for the boosting. But
Right.
I think I'm not sure how much money they put behind it because I just charge a set fee per month. I
Yeah.
don't know how other people do it. But it seems like holy crap, the views that I've seen from the content being boosted is like unreal. Like 3
Unreal.
million views. Like
Hmm. Hmm. Because
so
I
I
just
don't know
had
if
one
they're putting a
boosted
ton
as
of
well
money
that
or
went through the roof. It was just like, holy man, I know you put money behind it. But what I find, and
so
this is what I'm always telling creators now, is when someone comes to me to ask me to and I don't know if you're approaching it this way, it's a different day, to
mhm.
create content for them, they're essentially asking me to produce an ad. Like,
Yeah.
be the
Yeah.
human, create an ad. Instead of
Yeah.
going to pay $50,000 for like a shoot and gear and production
Mhm.
crew, go to Scott. He creates an ad. You charge X amount of dollars. I post it on my feed, and even if it doesn't perform great, they have an ad they can now come put money behind and push it out to other people. So
Totally.
really, this is what I tell content creators: is you are charging for ads. Like you're producing an ad, and it's not even about organic reach anymore, because if companies want reach, they just pay for it.
Yeah.
It's traditional marketing. Like, put a billboard up, go on the news, give me an ad. So that's where I don't feel so bad sometimes, because I'm like, if it gets good reach, great, but they're not necessarily paying for that. They're paying for the ad, the time that I took to produce it,
Totally.
film it, edit it, and say, here you go, you now have an ad that you can push out to millions of people.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that, and I think that that is, like, a thing that a lot of creators probably struggle with. I
Hmm.
know that I sometimes do, is that feeling of, like, "Oh, this feels like so much money for, like, what I'm
Mm,
doing," like, you almost don't feel worthy of it or something,
hmm.
and but
I
if
get
you
that.
remind yourself
Hmm.
how much it costs, like, marketing is
Yeah,
expensive,
it
ads are
is.
expensive, like, when you really think about it, and this is for even people who aren't creators who are gonna, like, look at influencers or whatever and be like, "Oh god, like they don't even do any work, whatever."
Hmm.
It's like, first of all, yes, we do, but second of all, the cost is actually such a deal compared to what they'd spend on
Yeah.
traditional marketing and what they're also paying for, at least like in my situation, I feel like that's like the the
Hmm.
maybe the reason for you it's like you have such amazing quality stuff. For me, it's like,
I love your
okay,
stuff. I think it's great
uh,
quality.
thanks. I mean, it's okay. It's not like as good as
No,
yours,
it's
but
so.
it's
Oh wait, no, it's
well,
really good. I love your stuff.
oh, thanks. But I
You're
feel
really
like
good
that.
at talking to camera and really engaging people.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I feel for me a lot of the times it's like they're really wanting to access my specific audience, which is
Right.
like Canadian women.
Right.
They're like, we want the Canadian women. So I'm also like, well, that is also like an asset that they
Totally.
would be paying top
Hmm.
dollar for in traditional
Hmm.
marketing to like
That's
get
right.
into those niche groups of like on TV or wherever the heck they put it. And I'm
I,
sorry, but like the amount you spend on a friggin' billboard would probably be
totally.
a lot more than this, and people are just driving by, not even looking, who cares? You're not targeting a
Yeah.
specific market that way. Like, it's a
The,
more
I,
effective solution and it's cheaper.
this is the thing, because I was doing work with one company one time. I was talking to their in-house marketing team, and they said they spent $400,000 on a commercial and they didn't like it. They didn't even use it.
Oh,
Like, but that's normal
mm.
in these big
Yeah,
corps. Like, they
exactly.
just throw money at things, and then it gets to the top of, like, I don't like it. Their
Yeah,
marketing budgets are so huge. So that's what I'm saying, is don't feel
can't feel
bad.
bad.
No,
No.
you've maybe the little guys, but the big corps that have the money, they're not even
Yes.
blinking their eyes. They're like, we did
Yeah.
it. It's just part of their roster. Like, got an ad out, boom,
Yeah.
got an ad out, boom, just fulfilling deliverables. So if you are
Yeah.
working with companies with, that are bigger, that I want to encourage people, you're creating ads for people that you're giving them assets that they can use, push out
Hmm.
through stories, through whatever platform they want. So
Yeah.
um, don't undersell yourself, because you are a content creator
Hmm.
making valuable assets, sincerely,
Hmm.
for companies. So don't feel bad.
Totally.
That's what I would say.
No. And if you do feel like their main goal is to reach your specific audience
Yeah.
and they didn't have it in their budget to like promote it and you feel like it it didn't perform as well as it could have or whatever. And like, you can always, if you want to like build a relationship and maintain a relationship with that brand, I guess like you could offer like a discounted rate on
Sure.
boosting and
Yeah.
suggest it or something, or you
Yeah.
could, I don't know, like for example, okay, here's an example. I
Okay.
friggin' like, and it doesn't have to do with boosting, but this is just about like trying to put in the extra effort. I did, like, I'm working with Nespresso right now.
Mhm.
Lovely. You want to see my new Nespresso
Yes, I
machine?
actually do want to see your machine.
That's my new one. Look at it. It's a little
Okay.
baby. Oh,
Oh, I
actually,
like it.
that's not released information yet. So,
Right.
so I think they're launching. Maybe they've launched now, but I think the official launch date is the 27th. So,
Oh, nice. So you
anyways,
got an early Nespresso.
well, yeah, because
Oh,
it's
nice.
because I'm marketing for them. So I've been in the contract with them for a while. But the last time I posted, I was like in Tofino and I was busy and I was just like
Right.
blah, and I posted my stories and they just didn't get like a lot of views, like half the amount
Right.
of views. And I that those situations I do feel like
Right.
I should just do more because
Mhm.
that is like less than I feel comfortable with. Like I
Mhm.
also have standards in terms of like what I want the performance to be
Totally.
like. So
Yeah.
there are circumstances I think where you can like take it
But that
upon
is
yourself.
that is the pressure, and I honestly, it's been a point of pressure for me,
Mm,
because I've been in this game for 13 years, and sometimes my stories don't do so well, or sometimes a post doesn't do so well,
I
and that
know.
it does create a lot of inner anxiety because you want, and I go on these trips and sometimes these reels they go viral. I get like
Yeah,
these millions of views and some things do hundreds of thousands. And then people come to you and then the next one gets 20K and you're just like dying inside because you feel terrible because you're like, I don't control the algorithm,
exactly. That, yeah.
And it is a point of frustration where creators have this love-hate relationship with the app where we get opportunity, but at the same time, it's like, oh man, like I put a lot of work into that,
Mhm.
and a
Mhm.
brand that came to me because they see some numbers and I get that. And I don't think people understand because I've had people like, where I'm talking, I don't know if you've had this where they're like, oh man, they're like got a professional careers and they're talking to me about
Yeah.
what do you do? And you're like, oh, I do this. And they're like, oh, maybe I should do what you do. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't. You
Yeah.
should not do it. You should stay a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
No,
should
it's
pay for your
true.
own trips because this is a lot of stress, you know?
It is. It's a lot of stress that you can't leave at work, you know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah.
not saying obviously doctors, I'm sure, take home a lot of stress, but
Yes, they
but
do.
like but just it really it feels very personal. So
Mhm.
everything that you do, because you're basically your own, like you are the
Mhm.
brand,
Mhm.
like it's really hard to separate the successes from
Mhm.
yourself. And
Mhm.
honestly, like I feel that that's something that maybe I haven't even thought about as much as I should, which is that like maybe a lot of the times when I'm feeling kind of like down or anxious or whatever, maybe a lot of it's tied into that because God, like I put myself out there all the time and I'm people have expectations of me and I have deadlines and I have people to respond to and this to make and this to make, and I think that that can really take a toll, and I feel like it's a matter of time before we get the stats on that because it is still a
Mhm.
new industry, but we're gonna be old geezers one day, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, that's the generation of like
Mhm.
people who lost their minds because they grew up on Instagram."
It's true. I feel that pressure and I feel like I do you feel like do you feel that people get a lot of their affirmation or self-worth from their social media like engagement?
I think so. I think so. I mean, I don't know. I've definitely gone through phases of that. There was a time where I did not care, and then I was around some other creators because I don't have a lot of friends in my like immediate life that do what I do. And I remember being on a trip and hearing I'm not gonna say names, someone say, this is someone I had just met, say that if their post doesn't get 100 likes in a minute, that they immediately delete it. And I was like, whoa, what? And it made me like realize how much I didn't care at that time. This was
Mm.
probably like 2018. So, but I remember at that time thinking, or maybe 2019. Anyway, it was sometime like in the middle of things. And I was like, shoot, like, am I supposed to? It made me think that I should be more like conscious of how many likes I'm getting and stuff. And whereas before I didn't think about it.
Mm.
So and then I started thinking about it and I don't like that. Like I don't like caring about it. I'm in
Right.
a phase, again, that's another thing that kind of ebbs and flows. I'm in a phase right now where I care not at all,
Right.
but there's times where I do and it does make me anxious.
It's hard because it's a world that pulls you in and pulls you out. You're like, I'm not going
Yeah.
to care about it, but then you got a job and you go on the social and like now I
And
have to care about it, you know?
and exactly. And when it becomes your career, you
Yeah,
kind of have no choice but to care about it.
right.
And and the stakes just feel higher when you go full time, and
Mhm.
even if you don't, like the stakes are always, it depends who you are, but it's
It's
just
a love
when you
hate.
start getting paid, yeah.
Yeah,
When you start
it's a
getting
love
paid,
hate.
the stakes start to feel higher, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know. I think hopefully people listening can feel encouragement that, no matter where you're at, there's that ebb and flow and that frustration that, of like
Mhm.
the tensions between love, hate. I love creating content. I love sharing on social media, but it
Yeah.
can be hard when it doesn't do as well as you thought,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and taking too much affirmation from it. So it's one
I
thing that,
know.
because we're still valuable, even if people don't like our stuff.
Yeah, totally. And I think that if you just put out, and I mean, I'm saying this like as if I follow this rule all the time. I don't,
Yeah.
but I definitely know that in the times when I'm less concerned about numbers and I'm more concerned about just like, I don't know, sharing stuff that I think is like funny or or that I care about, that I like, or maybe like writing a caption that means something to me, or
Hmm.
sharing something that I think is funny that makes other people laugh. Like something that just feels more me and less for anybody else. I feel more satisfied, and I do think that you're if if what you want is to connect with your audience, if that's like your thing, which is for me, that's like the thing that I get most enjoyment out of. Um, it just caring less and just being yourself, as hard as that may be sometimes, is gonna produce better results. So it's
Yeah.
just a matter of getting like making your way there, even though it feels counterintuitive to how you're feeling sometimes, you know?
Yeah. In the end, you gotta
Yeah.
be pumped about what you're sharing, so,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
Yeah.
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 So
That's the
we've
most
only got a
important.
few minutes left. We've been having an
Yeah.
incredible conversation. I feel like we could do a series,
Yeah.
about everything. Just for the creators listening, one thing that you've recently done, 'cause I think one thing creators always ask is, "How do I make money?" How have you monetized yourself off the platform? Like, how have you used Instagram, TikTok to monetize yourself in other income producing ways that don't rely on social?
Hmm. Well, I have a Airbnb that I'm in right now.
That's huge.
It's not really income producing, maybe one day, but my mortgage is so ridiculous that it's just like I'm just gonna be making payments for my mortgage. But some months are better, and it seems like I'm making money, but then the other months suck, and so it's all
Yeah,
gonna
but you
balance out.
haven't had
But
a summer yet.
I haven't had summer yet, but spring is pretty dead,
Oh,
so
is
we'll see.
it?
I mean, kinda. It's like, yeah, it's
I'll come
like,
out. I'm gonna come, bring
yes,
my
please,
family. I
please
wanna
do,
remember I said
please
it was
do.
the Avocado Treehouse? What's it called properly?
Avocado Guesthouse.
Okay, yeah.
It has nothing to do with avocados, but there is green in here. That's why I called it
Yeah,
that. Like the walls are green, like the doors are green and
but
stuff.
I think that's such a great step forward for you to, like, buy a piece of property. That's so cool.
I've always wanted to have an Airbnb, and I've always wanted to like, yeah, I honestly, like, again, this is another thing I get most satisfaction out of connecting with my audience. So it feels like getting to have people come over to my house. And that
Yeah,
sounds so cheesy, but that's the thing that was like most exciting to me, was like I get to have people here and like host them, even though I'm
right.
not here. I should just be here one day. I
You
should
should
just be
just
like
be there.
sitting
Just
there.
you come with the property.
Yeah.
Hangouts with
Um,
Jasmine.
but
You'd be a
so
great house guest at all times.
you know,
You're very entertaining.
I'm too
But
messy.
with your
But
design of it though, because it's true, it's very much your style. So did you
mhm.
feel excited to like put a
Oh
piece of like
yeah.
who you were into
Yeah,
this
yeah.
experience?
Yeah, that was very, very exciting. That was very
Yeah.
exciting. And like obviously it's not that attainable to just like go buy a house if you want to have extra income, but the other thing that I did that honestly friggin' Scott, like this was crazy. Again, the motivation was like connecting with my audience because that's what makes me feel most satisfied. So I
Right.
created an online store. At first I sold presets.
Right.
Insane. Like I did not think
Really?
that many people would care about presets. This was like when photos were still like pretty
Right.
big deal on
And
Instagram.
I think photos are coming back.
I hope so. I hope
Yeah.
so.
My
But then
photo
I
did better than my reel the other day. What the heck?
that's
Yeah.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
I know, I think you're right. I think they are kind of like trying to turn
They're
things
coming
around.
back. Hmm.
Yeah, they're like, this strategy didn't work. Um,
That's how you know you're old when you see something come full circle.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like been there. It's like when I see these kids wearing the Birkenstocks, I was wearing them.
yeah. I
You
know,
know?
totally.
So
Yes.
now it's like photos are back again, kids. That's how you know you're getting old.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. Oh my God.
Sorry, I totally interrupted you.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that
Selling presets.
yeah, from there, I designed my own website and I sold presets at first, and then I was like, I want to sell some other things. So Eric and I designed masks during the pandemic, and we sold thousands of
Wow.
masks, thousands of
Wow.
masks. I would
Wow.
spend 10-hour days packaging friggin' masks all day.
Wow.
So I didn't understand the work that was going to go into having my
Right.
own online store, but
Right.
there's different ways that you can do it to like offset the amount of actual labor you have to
Right.
do. Like you can have things drop shipped or whatever. So that's a really like,
So you were packing masks, like you were like shoving
oh,
them in
oh
manila
yeah,
envelopes.
yep. And I wouldn't let Eric do it because I was like, they need to be folded a certain way. Like I was such a control freak. Eventually, he does all the. We have sunglasses still that we sell, and we have toques that we still
Right.
do. The t-shirts are drop shipped. I actually stopped selling t-shirts because we were having
Right.
shipping issues. But
Right.
anyway, I've had like different things that I put on the website that I just like, and
Yeah.
that's been surprisingly. I mean, it was kind of just a thing for fun, but it ended up being another income producing
So
asset as
cool.
well. So
So
there are so
cool.
many things that you can do. And it
Yeah.
doesn't have to, you can drop ship everything nowadays. So
Everything.
if you have ideas for things, you don't even have to hold inventory.
That's
You're
so
not gonna
cool.
you're not gonna get as much profit. Like
Yeah.
our
And
t-shirts,
Eric
we
won't
don't
be
make
stressed
anything.
out, be pushed to the side.
Yeah, exactly.
Poor Eric.
I know. He was like,
During the process, he's like, you can't pack these manila envelopes. You're not doing it right, Eric.
it was great. And I was having like a breakdown. It was during Christmas too. And like, if anyone out there is a creator, you'll know that's the busiest time of year usually. I was like,
Yeah.
not letting Eric touch an envelope and packing masks and going nuts, crying every day. It was
Oh, Eric. I guess mask sales are probably down though now. Hey,
we sold them out. We sold out of them. I think we have a couple
they're
more, but
gone.
we sold out of them
Never coming
all.
back in stock.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I should
so.
hold it. It's like a legacy piece now. Like
It
I have
is,
them
yeah.
at my home.
Vintage.
Yeah,
Vintage. You
yeah.
know?
Like it's gonna
Check
go
out my
into
vintage
sort of
mask from
history.
2001. Wow, was that a 2001 you've got? 2021 or 2022? Can you imagine? We're losing our minds.
Oh my
Anyway,
God.
this
I
has been
know.
okay. Before we go, because
Yeah.
like I said, I feel like we could talk about everything.
We didn't even get to talk about you.
Oh, people, they don't need to talk about me.
Yeah.
I feel like I talked about myself, didn't I?
Not really.
Oh,
Whatever. We'll have it. We'll have another
we'll have
round
another
for.
podcast
We
that's
should
all
let
about
me.
me.
We should let me interview you for a
Sure,
different one.
sure. Next
That's
episode, you interview
okay.
me. Okay,
Okay.
sure.
I
Okay.
like that.
I won't have nearly as exciting stories like dream dates or anything, you know?
Dream date.
I thought it was called the dream date. This is how out of touch with the show I am.
The dream date.
I thought it was the dream date.
I know.
Is it not? It's not the dream date.
Definitely not.
Okay. What is your life advice for anybody out there? Like, what's the one thing if I meet Jasmine and I have 1 minute with you and I never see you again? What's the one thing that you are depositing into me to leave me with to live a better life?
Oh my God. Just in general,
Sure.
not related to content.
It can be
Life.
anything. Sure.
Oh my God. Okay. I would say don't wait to have experiences. Like don't does that make sense? Like
Yes, totally.
live now.
Yeah.
Live like you're dying. In the words
Live
of
like
Tim
you're
McGraw.
dying. Like that Tim McGraw song,
Yeah.
Skydiving.
Rocky Mountain Flying. Wait,
Yeah.
what is it? I don't even know. Rocky Mountain Climbing.
Rocky Mountain climbing, skydiving, you know?
2.7 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu.
Yeah. We need a lyric video.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, no, that's, I think that's true advice, because my friend was telling me about a book. I can't remember the top 5. I got to find them, but like the top 5 things people regret on their deathbed. And one of them was
Yeah.
like not doing the experiences, right?
Yeah,
Because everyone's
yeah.
always, and you don't have
Waiting.
to do waiting. You don't have
Yeah.
to do the big things. Like you don't have to go, it's just the little things sometimes, just doing something,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
That
That's
is
good
what put
advice.
me in debt in my 20s, but you can do
But
it.
look at you now.
I
Look at you
know.
now.
Thank
Living in
God.
the avocado tree house, making espressos with Fib Fat Fun or whatever it's called. I can't even say it. It's like a tongue twister on the hood. You're living the dream.
I'm gonna find that picture and send it to you.
I don't get titles right.
Fab Fit Fun. Fab Fit Fun.
Let's find the picture because then we can show on the podcast.
Okay.
Jasmine, it has been such a fun conversation with you. You're an incredible
Yeah.
person, incredible human being. You've got so much wisdom and so much knowledge, and you are so true to who you are on social and in real life. And anybody that meets you is a better person for getting to know you. So I want to thank you
Aw.
for taking time to join us. You can follow Jasmine Lorimer on all of her channels on Instagram, TikTok, and wherever else she is. I know if you go to one of them, you can follow the links and go on the website and buy the things, buy the presets, and
Yeah.
also stay at the Avocado Guesthouse. Honestly, I'm gonna come stay there. It looks like such a vibe. I can't wait to get out to Whistler and be a
Yeah.
guest and do some little reels for you. And but
Mhm.
everybody check it out because it is. If you're gonna go to Whistler, make sure you check it out because it is
Yeah.
the newest hottest spot in town. So
Hey, I like that.
hey. Anyway, if you're enjoying the Socality podcast, make sure you like and subscribe. You can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast, and of course here on YouTube. All right, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys soon.